like you said, we kind of have two two spots for manufacturing. I don't know if that's the best word, but we do have our batch build area, and then we have what we call a cell build area. And the batch build area, um, say at the end of the day, we have a product, and we're building 100 of them. Well, just for round numbers, I'll say 120 annually, right? So that's 10 a month. But it's got various subassemblies in it. Okay. I don't know. Maybe there's 10 subassemblies that go into one product. We'll plan to build 10 products per month, but there might be subassemblies in there where it just makes more a sense from an efficiency standpoint to build all 120 of this subassembly for the whole year and then just put the ones we don't need in inventory and then just pull out what we do need as the time comes. So that's kind of what a batch area of product assembly is. It allows you to build big batches of subassemblies. And then all those different subassemblies as needed go in to build the bigger product. And that's typically done in a cell area. But we set cells up based on, I'll call it repetitive manufacturing, ongoing manufacturing. So if we know with certainty that a product is going to be built, 10 per month, every month for the next 12 months, we might set up a cell that just allows all that material to just flow in and out of it seamlessly. Whereas other customers, they'll ask us to build 100 as soon as they can get them. And then they go off and we don't hear from them for 2 years and they come back and says, please build us another 100. That doesn't really lend itself to a cell because there's never an ongoing manufacturing with that product. So we'll typically do that all in a batch area. So it does kind of lend itself to what the forecasting is for the product and how often we plan to schedule that product coming in and going out.
Yeah, there's also a bit of a hybrid of that too. Even in our cell build areas, where we've got one product that is being built continuously, and we ship like 8 a week. There are sub-assemblies which lend themselves to batch build, so those would be kitted out in the batch build area, and the sub-assemblies would be built. And when they're done, they don't go back to the stock room, but they go into the local inventory in the cell. So those are kind of Kanban. So as we see the quantity of them get drawn down, we'll build another 25 or 50 or whatever a economical quantity is. That's the cell build kind of way of doing it. Is you have a certain location, you move the inventory. When the inventory comes in, you put it in the cell. You have one or more people in the cell, and they're continuously building. And sometimes we'll put a cell together and run it for 6 or 8 months and then break it down because that's just how the customer wanted it. We built a couple of hundred of them over 6 or 8 months, and now it's okay. We need to stop, take a break because we're doing some redesigns, and 4 months later we pick it up again.
Mhm.
So our space tends to be pretty flexible, and we can move in and out of it if we have to.
Sometimes, again, depending on the volume of the product, our technicians will build a full product right at their bench, and typically that's the type of product that we only build a few of, kind of at an on-demand basis.
Yeah.
There's not really ongoing manufacturing, and there's not a high volume, but the product is pretty well contained, so a technician can just have it on their bench and be putting things into it, and when they're done putting things into it, the product is complete. There's not a lot of levels to it.
Mhm.
But those work cells for each technician, they have like a standard set of equipment around them to allow them to do what they need to do. ESD mats. We have it set up with their access to our dock control system, so they can pull up any relevant, documentation that they need to build the thing that's in front of them, as well as a standard set of hand tools and equipment that they'll need to put it together. And they're all kind of set up the same way, tweaked a little bit per technician, and how they work. But Those stations are set up to lend themselves more to a batch building type of process. Whereas those stations, if you're trying to build a full product with ongoing manufacturing, there's a lot of material that moves in and out. So those compact stations just don't physically have the room to handle all that material as it's coming and going.
We have assemblers with many different skill levels. Some of them like to do wiring, some soldering, some straight mechanical assembly. Some are very flexible and can do all of them. And in the cells, we will usually we'll train a group of people on how to build the product. And then periodically we're always rotating someone new into that work area so that they can be trained, just so that we've got multiple people trained, so that no matter who's out sick or takes vacation, the cell can continue to run. People will cycle through on the batch builds as well. Those people tend to be very, very flexible, because every day, heck, every couple of hours, there's a new type of product that they need to build. And so the training on that, it makes those guys very valuable.
Yeah, we try to
Um,
cross train as much as we can so that
Right.
any technician at any given time can more or less pick up any subassembly that comes in front of them and be able to put it together. Each technician has that one thing that they might be better at or better at than other things, but in a general sense, our technicians are pretty well trained across a lot of disciplines.